Welcome to Crash Out Sports Podcast with your host Rod and Quinn.
Yo, man, how y'all doing, man? It's your co-host Quinn, man. Oh, there he is, right there. And the host right here, man, Rod, man. Welcome to Crash Out Sports Podcast, man. How you feeling today, Rod?
Man, tired, dog. Tired. Um, just tired, dog. But we gonna make it, boy. Um, what's on the docket today, man? What's your thoughts about? Let's go on some NBA, then we can go to NFL and switch around. What's your thoughts about how the Warriors are treating Stephen Curry? Um, do you see him opting into a long-term deal and finishing it out and being traditional superstar with one team, or what's your thoughts about this the scenario I just said?
I don't see him staying, honestly. I mean, there's no real reason for him to stay. I mean, yeah, they brought Draymond back after they couldn't acquire LeBron. They haven't
Mm-hmm.
made any real moves in free agency other from Draymond Green. Yeah, I don't see 30 staying, man. I think he probably asked for a trade. I mean, if he does stay, this is probably his last year. I'd say
Yeah.
that. I mean, y'all haven't after what was it? After that championship he had in 21, 22, y'all haven't built
Mhm.
nothing around him. You basically got rid of everybody who made that team what that team was. So, if you ask me personally, if I'm him, hey, listen, it's probably either my last year or I'm going somewhere else to finish it out and then calling it a day. They were very high on the list of LeBron probably signing over there, and you drop the ball on that. All right, cool. You don't make no
Mhm.
trade to get better. So at that point, you just kind of letting Steph Curry at the age he's at, he don't need to prove nothing. But at the end of the day, you're a competitor at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, all right, bet. It is what it is. Like, nah. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
have to compete.
I agree with you on that. And I think something about Steph. I think he should have been a little bit more aggressive of his window. I feel like he was like, all right, cool. After that fourth one, I'm good. I think he should have said something. These are the guys I want to bring in. What's your thoughts about these free agents right there? Because the fall from grace out of that last shit against who they beat?
Boston.
Yeah, after that Boston championship, that carpet got grabbed underneath his foot and he fell on his ass. You know what I mean? So I think they didn't plan the future right all the way. And you look what Bob Mars did, going to Boston. I got to say this. I think the owner didn't want to kick out. He didn't want to be on that second apron or spend the crazy money. I think he was cool too. Like, yo, we won it before. We good right now. And sometimes that president slash GM get put in a situation where if the owner don't want to spend no money, what can you do?
Yeah, well, that's why Bob Myers is actually in a play right now. That's why they're able to get LeBron over there and Jalen Brown because he
Mhm.
left Golden State organization. And he's been building that team up for the past couple of years, grabbing little pieces, drafting right. So it's one of those things where, like you said, like, if the owner or the GM don't have a drive to win, what can you do as a player or a coach? Like you at that end of the day, you get blamed for what the GM or the owner wants to do with their team.
Mhm.
So if I'm a player and my owner doesn't want to get better or build nothing around for the future, because like, you gotta think about it, everybody who are basically the future for the Golden State Warriors is somewhere else. Kaminga actually is free agent. Jordan Poole, Pelicans. Moses Moody, we don't know what they're gonna do with Moses Moody yet.
Mhm.
So but I don't see them being their direct future. And now they dropped the Yaxel and they hoping that Yaxel pans out well, so they probably build around him. But at the end of the day, the Warriors are slowly going down to one of them builder teams that are just building their roster up. But the only reason why we're always going to say, oh, they're somewhat in a playoff spot is because of Stephen Curry and what he's able to do on the floor. So if you ask me personally, man, if I'm Steph, I'd be like, man, I'm out. I can't do this shit for another year.
I feel you. I want to get into this little quick video too. Let me look it up real quick. What this light skinned fellow Jalen Brown is doing to JB. I think it's a funny video. How he's staring at him. I'm gonna show you the video real quick, and I want your quick thoughts. I think they had they had your boy's wedding, Coco and Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
Jalen. All right, let me share it. I click this shit. Oh shit. Go out there, JB. I can't play that fucking music. But yeah, they having a good time, and your boy pops up on the screen and stare at him. I'm trying to get to the thing. I don't know. Can you see him staring over there?
I can see it.
Yeah, he's staring at this. You know what I mean? I thought that shit was funny as shit. How he was staring at him. Like, I see you over there in Philly, but I want the smoke. You know what I mean? That's why I mess with. I mess with Bronson because he's a competitor, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can say what he wants. He's a competitor.
Yeah, man, that's a funny man. That's funny. That's hilarious. I kind of wonder what the conversation was at that wedding between Brunson and Jalen Brown, just talking about the season or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because the Knicks basically have the same team going into next year with addition of Andre Drummond. And obviously Philly got 10 times better overall, adding LeBron, Jalen Brown, Caleb Love off their bench. You know what I'm saying? So they overall got better. I think they could probably use, I say, one more good wing, and then they set. They just trade off the young boy Broom somewhere for cash consideration, so they can get past the first and second apron. So I kind of wonder what they're gonna do with that. But we'll see though, because like I said, there's a lot of free agents in the free agency right now. They can possibly get, but we'll see though. I wonder if Philly gonna probably go after Kaminga though. I kind of wonder what that looking like. 'Cause I don't know. I don't think he signed anybody yet.
I thought he was supposed to go to Cleveland. I thought Cleveland was looking at him. I was hearing.
I mean, that's a rumor, but I haven't seen any news about him signing with anybody or anybody being a top contender for him. It's just been rumors so far. So I don't know why Atlanta let him go. I thought they were going to sign him back and then build that roster together, but we'll see.
Yeah, man. It's hard to think how these owners are thinking and these personnel thinking because you need wings. You need a few wings to compete. You know what I mean? To come off the bench and I thought he only thing about Kaminga is he got to work on that jumper a little bit more. But he's athletic, motherfucker. He's really athletic. He's super athletic. So he can help teams out. I just don't understand why, again, going back beating the dead horse, I don't understand why the Warriors gave up on him and gave up on Wiseman You know what I mean? I don't even know Wiseman's still in the league or not. Is he still in the
No,
league or he's
no.
out?
Wiseman
So
been out the league for the past after his stint with Detroit. I think that was it. But Wiseman made sense to me. Why they give up on him because he didn't progress as a big that they needed though.
okay.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like Wiseman was like it's the same thing you kind of saying with Kaminga. Wiseman didn't have a jumper.
Hmm.
He was a post player. So you got to think about it when it comes to Golden State when they had Al Horford, right? Or Porzingis, right? Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You need those type of guys or type of bigs because it spreads the floor. So now
Hmm.
you don't have a guy taking up the paint area. It's like we see in the NBA now, like with some rules, right? If you
Hmm.
have Rudy on the floor, you have to change your offense because it has to be four out, one in, because Rudy can't shoot. And
Yeah.
nowadays NBA, everybody needs to shoot the ball. You can have a big that can, sit there, cool, that's fine. But you have to change around your whole offense so then he feels comfortable within the system. Because now if he's not fitting in your system, he's not gonna play well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's gonna get no good looks. That's why everybody in NBA now is starting to have those bigs that can have the option to shoot the ball or shoot the mid range. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Wiseman didn't fit with Golden State when he got drafted. I honestly thought he was going to go somewhere like Brooklyn because then he can actually learn himself as a player. He's on a growing team who's not really, you know what I'm saying? Like, actually, no, they had KD and Kyrie back then, but he could learn from them. You know what I mean? Then going to Golden State. So that's how I personally feel about that.
Okay. And it's another thing. I think they was talking about this on the first take. Uh, Kevin Durant say something. He said something. He was like, with all the firepower that that the Sixers got, they should be a top seed, and he laughed about it. And your boy Stephen A. Smith was talking about. He went back to saying he don't feel like this move with LeBron is the same thing as Kevin Durant going to Golden State after he got swept. What's your thoughts about that?
And Stephen A. Smith said that. Wait. He said that Kevin said LeBron's move to Philly is the same move as Kevin
No, no,
Durant
no.
going
He
to
said
Golden
is
State.
he said is not is not the same thing.
Oh no, it's definitely not. Because all right. So here's his problem, right? When KD decided to move to Golden State, right? Golden
Mm-hmm.
State was the best record team, right?
Yeah,
Golden State had just beat them 3-1,
yeah.
and then they lost in the finals 3-1. And the very next season, he signs with a team that just beat him, and by record, they were the best record team in the NBA last year.
Mm-hmm.
So LeBron joined the Sixers, who was the third seed last year, went to
Mm-hmm.
this went to the semis and got swept, and they're a young growing team. That's nowhere near the same as being on a team with an MVP in Stephen Curry, an all-star in Draymond Green, an all-star in Klay Thompson, and obviously a head coach who obviously already knows what he's doing with the team because Steve was Steve Kerr. So that's nowhere near the same move. And I hate when people say, "Well, LeBron going to Philly, man, that's crazy." What does Where's Philly been the past 5 years?
Not even that. They haven't been since you probably wasn't alive last time they went
I was just
to a
being born when they
finals.
went to the finals.
Yeah, so so you
So
can't
so,
say
so
it's
yeah,
not the same. It's not the same thing. It's
yeah,
apples to
but
oranges.
his problem shows like ESPN. You got people on that show who obviously don't know the sport, or they're trying to get the hot take off. That's the
Mm-hmm.
issue. Like the Brian Windhorse, the Mad Dog, like stop doing that shit. Like y'all can talk basketball without having to go off hot takes all the fucking time. You know what I mean? And that's the issue that we have in the podcast space too. Some people like fucking Rashad McCants. Motherfucker
Oh
got
yeah,
fired underdog because he be doing too fucking much.
he out of there.
You know what I mean? So you can talk hoops and sports without having to do the hot take shit. And that's the issue that I got. If I say fuck the ESPNs, because they'll get off some shit, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. So It is what it is.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. The hot take, the hot take is crazy.
But also let's also get into that Kevin Durant comment where he laughed about Philly being a top seeded team or being,
Mhm.
the team out east. I understand why he laughed because he was in a situation with Brooklyn, right? Everybody was like, man, that's the best man who gonna beat out Brooklyn, right? And they end up getting the injury virus with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. Then James Harden leaves the next year because Kyrie Irving didn't want to take the vaccine, and then him and Kyrie leaves. So I get why he laughed because it's like you don't know what could happen with that team next year. Like Joel Embiid could go down, LeBron can go down, Jalen Brown can go down, Maxson can go down. Like you don't know what could happen to that team dynamic during the season or even before the season. So you can't say that's the best team to beat when you have the Knicks being a championship team and they're coming back with dinner the same crew.
Mm.
So I get why he was like what? Like they haven't even played a game together. So we don't know what
Yeah,
that team not even gonna look like.
yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, man, you don't. And I gotta say this one thing about Kevin Durant that my problem is with him is that he's a nonchalant hooper, right?
Hmm.
And I felt like he could have won more than he actually did. Because when you really look at it, you really look at the teams he had. They could have kept that team and kept on retooling it. He could have had a situation what your boy had, your boy SGA had. I think that ownership wanted to win in OKC. I think Kevin Durant just got tired and he jumped off that lifeboat onto that yacht at the bay. I felt like he could have got them to go get a few more pieces, but that's just my thoughts. Because you look at what LeBron went to, and when he first went to Cleveland, it was nothing like that. He didn't have a running mate like a James Harden or a Westbrook in his prime when he was a 20 and 15 guy. Uh, who's that wing that had was pretty solid? A
Over and
European.
go.
I know
Oh,
with
the European
yeah, I don't think he was European. He was a light skinned wing.
Kevin
He
Martin,
played not Kevin Martin. He was a defender. I forgot his name.
Shalosha
Yeah,
or
Sabalosha.
Roberson.
Yeah, Sabalosha and Robinson. They was solid wing defenders. They have really a crazy offensive bag like a Clay Thompson or nothing. But Serge Ibaka was peak. You know what I mean? He was one of a great shot blocker. You know what I mean? So they did have it, but I don't think people willing to negotiate with their own with the ownership and the front office.
So his first stint in OKC, right after they went to the finals, after what his third or fourth year,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta remember they got rid of James Harden because they paid Serge
Yeah,
Ibaka all that
yeah,
damn money.
yeah. That
So
was
that
great.
fucked up. Yeah, so that fucked up the team by itself because then they had to re up with somebody else. So that's when they got Tavo. That's when they grabbed Kevin Martin. They tried Jeremy Lamb, I think, a year later. So if they had kept that crew together, they probably would have it probably would have beat the Spurs to go to the finals the very next year. But when you don't when you have moving pieces year in and year out, and it's not no excuse because running mate is Russell Westbrook, but you know the issue with Kevin Durant and Russ was when Kevin Durant went down and Russ had to run that team basically by himself for the rest of that year. You gave It's like when if Shaq and Kobe, right? Kobe got that Batman stigma. And I was like, nah, I'm fucking Batman. It's the same thing that happened with Kevin Durant and Russ. But KD doesn't like we all talk about, he doesn't like confrontation. So he's gonna be like, no, fuck it, you got it. I'm not about to even fight with you on it. You can have it, is what it is. So then when he goes to Golden State, right? I feel like he could have probably stayed a Warrior if him and Draymond didn't have issues. You know what I mean? But even Golden State, he got hurt that last year when the Kawhi year happened. But we already knew he was leaving after that year anyway. So it's one of those things where you can definitely look back on the teams that he's had, like with OKC, with the Warriors, with Brooklyn, even with Phoenix the one year. Like you can always go back and look at it, but a lot of things kind of transpire, like injuries, people being moved, or just alone, um just stand alone, just the front office not willing to not put the right pieces around each other, but definitely put I say put in key players to keep the ship afloat. Because when KD went down in that Golden State thing, like, you know what I mean, they was already down what? I think it was what, 2-0, 2-1, and then he comes back. So my only issue would be is that I feel like when it comes to Kevin Durant, he's been hit with the luck of I'm not thinking of. He got hit with a bunch of unfortunate events like injuries. And it happens in the worst moments. So that's the problem. And the only year we can't excuse him for that was the year when he lost to Golden State 3-1. So he had to get, so he definitely got hit with a worst case of a scenario with injuries and unfortunate events. But you still gotta do what you gotta do as a basketball player and as a professional athlete.
Okay. After this, I want to show you another video. Then after this, we can go to football, and then we're gonna probably end that football and some stuff. Let me see. And I got an argument at the job about this shit, about people saying LeBron is not a good defender, and I'm adamant about this shit.
Oh man, it's like Tony Allen all over again.
Let me. Is it one? Let me see.
It's Tony Allen.
Let me play this audio real quick.
You get what I'm saying? That's his biggest thing, to chase down block. But he was saying something like he could have got Mark Gasol award.
He said that is his award. That's his award. He said Mark Gasol got my decoy.
Cool. So let me pull a sheet up on something. Bro, every time Mark got the award, when Mark got that award, everybody that summer or everybody was asking me why I ain't get the award. Why I ain't get the award. Man, I didn't think not one time LeBron deserved it. If Mark didn't get it, I should have got it.
We with you.
Yeah,
we with you.
I ride with you on that. And to see that he's saying for his legacy, he should have got that award. I'm saying to myself, bro, every game you came in, you was the 100. You was the guy.
You was a traffic cone.
And all you did was a couple chase down blocks a game. Name somebody that he had to lock up and get the win. Hey, you can't even think about that because it was always somebody trying to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't had time to be stopping nobody. That's what confused me about that.
I think a player with LeBron's like ability, the athleticism, like again, a freak we'd never seen before. I think 6 all defensive selections is so underwhelming
It's so
for his
hyped up.
career. It's so underwhelming
because of them
he
chase
should
down
have
blocks.
Okay. It was crazy work. You know, I mean, fair use, but it was crazy work how people think he's a traffic cone. And I'm wondering, how do you become top 3 in steals if you're a traffic cone? You got 6,000 steals. How are you a traffic cone?
Oh my gosh, people! It's really
I
bad.
just want to know that. I just want to know, how are you a traffic cone if you got 6,000 steals? That's been
No,
hurt.
my issue is that someone like Tony Allen, right? You've been in the NBA, right? You faced probably the peak Bron. And that's not even that's Heat Bron we're talking about. We're talking about all defensive team, first team for one. When Marc Gasol won the award, he wasn't even the best defensive center. He was on second team. And people argue that he should have been second team when he got the award. But the fact that he won the award and he was second team. Remember, LeBron had won MVP, Finals MVP, won a championship, won a scoring title that year. And if voted correctly, he would have been Defensive Player of the Year that year. So it didn't make any sense to anybody when Marcus Gasol won the award because how does a guy on second team all defense win Defensive Player of the Year? And Tony Allen's saying, well, if it wasn't Marcus Gasol, it should have been me. What? I'm sorry, Tony Allen, but you weren't even on a defensive team that year, I'm pretty sure. So how would it have been you? And for people saying, well, him having 6 defensive teams is underwhelming. Well, sir, let's talk about the guys he had to go against. The Bruce Bowens of the world, the Kawhi Leonards of the world, the Paul Georges of the world. So those are overall better defenders than LeBron. He has to compete against them every single year. Mind you, LeBron's a forward. He's not a guard. He's not a center. He's a forward. So he's competing against all the PFs and all the small forwards. And this is when the NBA was primarily all fours were included in. So the Tim Duncans, the like we mentioned before, Bruce Bowens, the Giannis's, the ADs of the world, those are overall better defenders than LeBron James. So for you to sit there and say, well, that's overwhelming, look who he has to go against from 2003 all the way up. So let's not do that. And secondly,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And secondly, when it comes to LeBron being a defender, him saying, name a game where somebody locked him up. Please, and I hate when people say that shit because no one's going to lock up another star player. That just doesn't happen in the NBA, right? A star player is going to get off their numbers or probably shoot a bad percentage, but still get 26. That happens. So I hate when people say, "Well, name a game where he shut down this player." You can't go in any point in NBA history where a star player on a star player was guarding each other that they didn't get their numbers or that they didn't shoot bad but still got their numbers. It just happens that way.
But I can say this though, man. Delaying the plane. I can say you saying he was a traffic cone, and I seen him play 1 through 4.
1 through 5, really.
I'm gonna say 1 through 4 because you know what I mean. And I seen him go against. I seen him defend Derrick Rose in 2010. People didn't want to believe me. I argue at the job with D Money, Bruce, all them cats. I said, man, the last key possessions of that fourth quarter, he made Derrick Rose become a jump shooter. And that's the only way you could really beat D Rose because D Rose didn't have a 3-game. His mid-game was iffy a little bit. He over his career when he lost the explosion, he had to work on that jump a little bit more. But I seen him go against them guys. I seen him go guard. I see him go guard a Tony Parker when they went against the Spurs. I seen him go against Stephen Curry because Steph was blowing fucking Amon Shepard's eyes out with that three. I see him defend him. I see him go place the wings like KD in the finals. And Christmas Day, I seen him play Paul Gasol, who is 7'1". And he was going against peak Paul, like you said, peak Paul George, PG-13, Carmelo Anthony, Kawhi.
Yeah, like
You know what I mean?
and the list goes on, but people are like, name a game where these guys had 10 points, 6 points, 15 points. Bro, we're talking about them at their peak. But this isn't like LeBron's not 20, 18 years old getting to the league now. LeBron's not 26 now. If we're talking about the peak LeBron, we're talking about peak LeBron from 2006 all the way down. Right? That's what we're talking about, peak LeBron, right? In that stint, you're not like there's not, and again, I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again. You're not gonna find somebody who's an elite defender keep a superstar guy who's known for scoring below their average. Yeah, they might have a bad shooting night, but they're still gonna get their numbers. That's just a fact. So when
I think the biggest problem is with these cats, a lot of these old former players, they're haters. I gotta say this. Because you look at some players, right? Some players only get 8 years or less in some cases. You know what I mean? Because their body's faulty and they can't play. You know what I mean? And some cats were not able to play 24 seasons or even 15 seasons because the NBA faults, you know what I mean, pushed them out the door because they didn't have the skills or you know what I mean, the ability no more. You know what I mean? So I feel like I think LeBron is the most hated superstar the league ever had. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of fake love, I feel, also for Kobe because how he went out too. Because when Kobe was playing, a lot of people didn't like fuck with him. That's why he had that commercial. He had that commercial where he was talking about people don't really fuck with me. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of fake love just to say, hey, LeBron is not good. Like I had 2 old cats on my job. I mean, on the podcast yesterday, said LeBron's not even in their top 10. That's crazy to me. You don't have him in your top 10 at all, and you say you put Isaiah Thomas over LeBron. I gotta just ignore you. I gotta ignore you. You know what I mean? I gotta just ignore you in general.
I got Bob Cousy in my top 10 over LeBron.
Yeah,
Shut
like,
that
I
dumb.
got Tom Chambers over him. What?
Like, listen, look, listen, and know what? Listen, look, at the end of the day, that's their top 10. All right. And they're like, hey, you know what? These are the guys that because again, you gotta remember, your top 10 is your favorite. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so there should be no diss within your top 10. So if they don't have LeBron in their top 10, cool. Because that's your favorites, right? And it shouldn't be that way where in your top 10, you're like, oh yeah, I like 1 and say all the good things about 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like 2 and say all the good things about 2. But then you get to number 3, you're like, I like them, but this was wrong, this was wrong. It shouldn't be that way. Your top 10 should be your top 10 of what you like. So if that's what they say, hey, LeBron in my top 10, okay, cool. That's fine. But understand that your top 10 list is based off of what you like. And some people can't defend it because that's just, again, it's what you like. So at the end of the day, if they like I said, Bob Cousy and how Bob Cousy played, and they don't like how LeBron plays, okay, cool. That's fine. But don't put a motherfucker like Kobe on there and then say, well, I don't like how LeBron plays for Kobe. So why do you like Bob Cousy on your list? You know what I'm saying? Or like, why do you like Isaiah Thomas? Oh, well, so is Kyrie in your list then? No. Why?
Yeah.
Why? He's a crafty guard. You will put him in your top 10 then, because that's what you like.
It's crazy, man.
But listen, at the end of the day, a lot of the older generation hate on the new generation anyway. That's just kind of what happens. You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna like the LeBrons. No one's gonna like the Pat Mahomes. Like no one's gonna like them because it's pushing out the old. But when the old comes, like for instance, right? I watch a lot of Gil's Arena. I watch a lot of like player podcasts, right? And some former players are in defensive of the newer players because we got so many older players like Shaq, Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Like you got them being like degrading what the game is now because of how they played back then. But then you look back at their tape, you're like, yo, you got X, Y, and Z this. Like if Shaq shot 50%, maybe make 50% of his free throws, Shaq would probably be the all-time leading scorer.
No
Man got
doubt.
hacked. Like bro, man was shooting 20 free throws a night
Yeah.
at dinner every game. There's no reason why you shouldn't be in the top 10. Charles Barkley, you've been in as many situations from Philly when you got drafted, when you had Dr. J and Mos Malone. You go to Phoenix, you went to the finals, you faced Jordan, whatever. Go to Houston because they were a top seeded team when they had Akeem, Drexler, and Pippen. You couldn't do nothing there either. You can't hate on what the newer generation does when you say, "Oh, well, they like to move around so much, and these guys have to go to this team, this team, that team." But you forget y'all did the same thing. Y'all had the opportunity to. So don't hate on the new for doing it because now it's like, okay, bet they got the free will to do it when you did the same thing when you were a player. So that's all. Like that's the only problem I got is that when people like criticize, where they're like, oh, but don't stay on one team. Well, the situation has to make sense. I'm not gonna stay in fucking Charlotte my whole fucking career and rot if they're not gonna build around me. No, I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna ask for a trade. Like I'm not gonna stay in one place because you want me to prove that. That's not happening.
Yeah. You're right. You're right, man. But let's get into some NFL shit, man. It's going crazy, man. Right now, it's saying Deshaun Watson looking like dog shit. You're saying this motherfucker got more picks than fucking Zach Wilson right now. You know what I mean? It's saying he looking bad, man. It's saying he looking Kyle Bowler bad, man.
Oh shit, that's a name.
It right, it's looking bad, man. I'm hearing he's throwing a lot of picks and with shorts on. And I always said this: if you throwing a lot of picks and motherfuckers not even getting any pressure, you're not even getting hit, and you just throwing picks to everybody, not Denzel Ward, it's not a good sign, man. And I tell a lot of people, man, he had a lot of crazy injuries where it might be time for him to pack that shit up, man. You look at you tear your ACL, you got Tommy John surgery. It's nothing good comes from that. You know what I mean? It's hard to come back from them nasty injuries you had. And I always said this. I loved him when he was at Clemson. You know what I mean? Pause. I loved him when he was at Clemson and he smoked Alabama. You know what I mean? He was that guy. He was that guy when he was at Houston. But them hoes, man, derailed him, man. You mess with too many hoes, man. They put a rule on you, man. They put a rule on you.
I mean that Cleveland situation is kind of a big mess by itself, regardless of how he performs. Though,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't know who they want to make the number one. I'm glad that at least the coach over there is at least giving people opportunities that to prove themselves and not be like, all right, we're number one just because you're the most paid. So, and mind you, it could have been a bad day. I mean, shit, I just seen a report that Tua had a fucking great day. He didn't throw a pick. He threw perfect. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what that situation over there looking like for Atlanta. We don't know if Pennett's gonna start. We don't know if he's gonna start. So we don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot. It's a lot of right now. We got to say this. It's a lot of camp battles going on right now. You have you got Minnesota over there. That Kyler Murray. They saying Kyler looking like a fucking all pro right now against
mhm.
McCarthy. You know what I mean? I think McCarthy was a reach getting them up that high. I wouldn't have picked him that high because he's not a he's not. He's a more athlete, right? He's a running quarterback, but he's not next level of like a Lamar Jackson. He don't got wheels like that. Or and his passing motion is kind of funky. You know what I mean? He's not he don't really got a great arm. He got a basic arm for a quarterback at the NFL level, but he doesn't got that arm of he's going to be a franchise quarterback. And he doesn't throw like Tua where his anticipation and is accurate like that.
Jaden McCarthy. I mean, he's not. I'm not gonna say he's the worst or
I'm not saying
anything.
he's the
I'm just.
worst, but he's like a Daniel Jones, but not as athletic as Daniel Jones.
No, I think he's more athletic than Daniel Jones. I'm gonna say that. But I just feel like because of who he got on his team, like, you gotta remember, like Jettis is a top 5 receiver in the league, and then you got Jordan Addison, who's a great number two.
Woo! SRT. He's a
Yeah, and
Hellcat.
and you got Hawkinson, and then you got Aaron Jones behind you. So, and then the line is just they're not the greatest. But for the NFL, they're definitely like okay to decent. They give him enough time to give him a good look. So it's just I feel like too like he's been injured too. Remember he got the 2 concussions back to back seasons. So you gotta look at that way. You gotta look at again, because he's not the most. He's kind of a tweener. He doesn't really run. He's not really a pocket passer. He's really like a tweener. So you don't really know what you're gonna get out of him. Um. So for me, it's just like if y'all just keep working with him, I think Kyler Murray's a good teacher. If that's what he's looking to do over in Minnesota
Nah,
to kind of
I,
teach
I think
him
he's gonna
the
start
ropes.
though. I think he's gonna start, man. You,
I
you look
mean,
you looking at what these teams are doing because you look at you look at the Raiders right now. Fernando is not even starting. Mendoza
mhm,
is not starting to start the season. They letting Kirk Cousins because
take
they
the heat.
know they know that they got to set this offense up, and you know what I mean. And Kubiak got to do something because the Raiders does not have a lot of patience, and you got a Jinty, you got two of the best tight ends in the game. I think they're pretty solid tight ends, and Bauer and what's the other one? Myers or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. So you do got the talent. You got a Crosby. You got defense. You got the boy from the Eagles. I think he's going to be pretty good there. What is his name? Dean. Jacoby
Dean,
Dean.
yeah,
Yeah.
call me Dean.
So
Yep, my guy.
so you have some pieces where you should be able to win a few games. I think a good season for them would be like
Six,
6,
six
7.
wins,
You know what I mean? Six,
six
7.
wins.
You know what I mean? Something like that. So it's that situation. But my biggest thing with just the league right now is the Jet fans, man. Your Jets are going crazy right now, and thinking they can reheat the fries of Gino. They think Gino
Hold
can,
on.
huh? Huh?
Pause that. You say your Jets. I
I
caught that. You
mean,
thought you was
I
slick.
mean, I
I'm an
mean,
Eagles fan.
it's your old
I know
team,
what you're
man.
going to
You
do.
know what I mean? It's like your old baby mom. You gotta claim her sometime. You be like, yo, that bitch get on my nerves, but I'm gonna claim her today. You know what I mean? It's one of them shits. You know what I mean? It's one of them shits where you got to claim them lightly, like, yo, yeah, this bitch get on my nerves. That's my baby mom. You know what I mean? Even though you hate the motherfucker, it's one of them type of shits. You know?
No man, no man. I mean, I heard it. I heard a camp story that Minka Fitzpatrick finally got a pick after he couldn't get one last season. First time since the start of last season. So I guess that's good. I guess that's great news. I guess I don't know what that even means. I haven't heard a lot of camp stories for the Jets. If they're got Dolphins clicking, and with the Geo situation by itself too. Like I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know how they're going to construct that offense together because again, they didn't really. They got better as a skill position for like receivers and targets, but your line is still bad. You didn't fix that. So you could grab all the like you could have the greatest offense of all time, right? You can have Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss. Your QB can be Michael Vick. If your line ain't right, like what can we do?
What can you do? That's the question. What can you do? And I think I say this. I think their defense is going to be good next year. I think they're going to have a solid defense with the defensive end. I think he's going to have a good year.
Bailey.
What's his name? Bailey. I think he's going to be nice. I think the other boy they got, what's that linebacker they got? Fuck.
Well, the only one I remember they grabbed in the free agency was DeMarco Davis.
DeMarco Davis. You got the other boy. What's the other boy name? I think they got him for. They got him from the Bills. I think he's there too.
What, Milano?
Yeah, Milano was on there, I think,
Oh,
and
I know he's even signed there. Oh,
yeah, I think he's on there or somebody. But I think they're going to be a little bit better. I think Brees Hall's a monster. I like Wilson. If they got time to throw the ball, because their offensive line is not that terrible. It's not. I think they had opportunities to move the ball up the field last year, but your boy Justin Fields was fucking hesitating.
no, they didn't have no time. Man, listen. You know it's bad when you have a couple games where you only have 87 passing yards.
It was bad last year.
That goes without saying anything. That goes to show you that either you get no time or you had the wrong quarterback to begin with. They knew what Justin Fields is when it grabbed him. So
That's crazy.
we're not going to act like, oh, it's his fault. No, you knew the type of quarterback you grabbed in free agency last year.
What's your thoughts about this, man? Do you think this is a make or break year for CJ Stroud? I think it's a make or break year.
Ooh.
I think if he does the same shit and this defense is playing like the great value Ravens of the 2000, like they was doing last year with Will Anderson and the boys, and he does a goose egg like he did against us in the playoffs, I don't think they resign him. I think they would give him 1 year deal and go move on from him.
Well, it's not make or break because I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's only make or break if they had drafted a QB, right? So they're looking towards their future. They're not. They're gonna go off of them. You feel me? So this year for me, I wouldn't say make or break. I definitely say it puts him at in the hot seat for the organization because they're looking at him as the investment. So he had a great rookie year. He had a solid second year. His third year was just iffy. You know what I'm saying? So this year is more just like like you understand we're looking at you now, right? Like we trying to see what's going on with you because we're trying to put our money into you. You know what I mean? Like you gotta do what you gotta do for that money. So I think CJ Stroud this year is definitely the hot seat. If he can't do anything or produce better than what he has, I feel like they might start being like, okay, we might gotta draft somebody to really put a fire under his ass. And if he can't do nothing after that, then we gotta go. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I agree with you on that, man. I think this is a year because again that defense, man. If it's
Yeah,
one thing
it
I'm
was great.
with the corners they got, with the front seven they got, it's a lot. What's your thoughts on Baker's situation? Do you think what they did to him, offering him a 2 year deal with Harley, I think it was like 100 million for 2 years, was disrespectful? And because in his mind, I was seeing reports they were saying that he feels like he's better than the Sam Darnolds of the world, and he's at that 11 top 10. He feel personally about himself. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, as a player, you have to think highly of yourself, right? Like you gotta be like, man, I'm the greatest motherfucker that ever stepped on this goddamn field. He's allowed to think that, you know what I'm saying? But his deal for what you can do with what you currently have, it could be better. I feel like he'd probably give him 3 years because you gotta let him sink into the new offense now. You don't have Mike Evans. Ibuka's kind of sliding to your number one. Chris Godwin, you're unsure of his health and if he's able to stay on the
They got
field.
that running attack though. That boy's nice. Irvin, Bucky Irvin.
Yeah, they definitely have the running attack. Um, but yeah, the thing about this way is that again, he's a QB. He doesn't get paid off of what the run game does. He gets paid off of what he does on the passing side of things.
Tez Johnson's solid. Tez Johnson's like that.
Test is solid. I'm not saying that the receiving core is bad. I'm just saying they have to. They want to see what he can do with what he got. So that's what that deal was. Hey, let's see what you can do with what we got right now. You know what I
I,
mean? And then they trade Via Vea away, so that defense kind of fucked a little bit.
I just don't
So
want them to fall back to the Freeman day, Josh Freeman days. You don't want to fall back to them days. Chris Sims.
right, yeah, nah.
Sometimes you look over yonder, and be like, God damn, that thing is a situation, but you find out that motherfucker got herpes and gonorrhea. You gotta sometimes it's good to look forward, not on the other side. You know what I mean? So,
Man,
you cannot have let go Baker and not have a solid plan. That's all my thoughts are.
I mean, they're probably gonna draft the QB though. You know how the Tampa does, man. They're gonna try to sign somebody or draft somebody to fill in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what's gonna happen with that. So, but the problem is too, though, man. But that's the attitude that got him out of fucking Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that same attitude got him out of Cleveland, and that's why the Panthers let him go. You can't have that attitude towards everything. You feel me? And that's why the guys like Sam Darnold keep getting a job. They kiss ass and be like, all right, whatever. Not saying he got to, because at the end of the day, that's how he feel about himself. But that's what keeps people in the league long, especially QBs, because again, we talk about Shador the time on this show half the time. We're like, yo, listen, look, owners don't like when the QB is the most vocal guy on the floor. They like their QBs quiet. You know what I mean? So that's how the business goes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I agree with you, man. And before we get out of here, man, this Coach Prime shit, man, I think right now he's playing for his job, man. He's playing for his job. I think he got to get at least 6 or 7 wins to keep that job. What's your thoughts about that?
I think Coach Prime's a great. I mean, I don't know Colorado's history, but as far as I know, like again, if y'all ain't recruiting, your team not going to be the greatest. That has to be. You know, it's hard to compete with the Bama's and LSU's. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to prime time, listen, if prime time's out of Colorado, I don't see Colorado having a good record after he's gone anyway.
Yeah, I think this the lure of prime time. If he got fired, let's say he got fired, I think somebody else would be willing to do it again. Because the stimmy package of how much money you're gonna bring to your city. Can you imagine if he went to a Florida school and it had a prime time at let me say what's the school at Florida? One of them type things, or you know what I mean? It's Southern Florida or some situation like that. That
Mm-hmm.
should be hotcakes. You know what I mean? That should be something like fucking Little Debbie's. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So it's definitely a lot to think about, man. I hopefully have a good season. I'm mad as shit that I'm gonna miss out on the Deshaun Jackson versus
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick this year because that shit was a time last year. That shit was lit.
Yeah, that was a movie last year. I went.
That shit
It
was
was a movie
lit.
last year.
That shit was lit. Again, man, let the people know where your social medias are, and I know you got to get ready to go to work and shit.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, listen, social media obviously is Jay Swizzy 23, well, underscore 23, sorry. Like I said, man, keep following the podcast, man. Rock God Podcast every Sunday. Make sure to subscribe and tune in, man. And yeah, bro, it's gonna keep growing. We got longer episodes coming up for y'all. just keep rocking out with Crash Out Sports, man.
Yeah, man. And I gotta say this, man, to all the Eagles fans, man. Can y'all stop being bitter, man? Can y'all stop being bitter and wishing AJ Brown tear his meniscus and you know what I mean? It's okay, man. It's okay. I don't hate nobody that much, man. It's just fandom, right? When Tom Brady left, did I want to wish death threats on Tom Brady? No.
Yes.
No, I didn't. I wanted the man to succeed, man, because we had the best years of him. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta say, man, I got the best years out of this month. He got me 6 years. You know what I mean? He got me. It's like, you know what I mean? You gotta let things go, man. And sometimes these players are not loyal to an organization at the end of the day because they can get cut just like the next to them. You know what I mean? Or the league can push you out. So I don't expect these superstars or stars in general to be loyal to your team, man.
Hey,
They're
AJ sound like he being a diva already.
You know what I mean? These players are like IG models. They just there for the bag. You know what I mean? They're just there for that bag. All right, spend that shit. All right, I gotta go. We out of here.
Oh man.
Good night. Thanks for watching the Crash Out Sport podcast. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you later, Mitches.